I've been around UX and doing UX for many years, and I used to think that UX was about creating good interfaces, good designs, and good experiences naturally. And it is that, but it took me many years to realize that the decisions that go into how you create a design and the way a team is managed or the way a UX designer is managed is actually more important in the long run and for the overall organizational health and the return on the investment for your company or organization. I'd like to introduce you to the Managing UX MasterClass. In this MasterClass, you're going to learn about some of the more fundamental aspects of producing excellent designs. Like, it's not enough to create a design that works and that succeeds, and that has a great conversion rate or a great engagement rate that users love. Of course, that's what we're all after, but it's actually more important to be able to take your UX resources, if you have one UX designer, if you have a whole team, or you have 10 or 20 UX folks in your department, and to be able to help them and enable them to create consistent wins every time. And that's really the key, is how do you repeat the process? How do you go in so that you don't just have that one-time win? I've worked with too many clients that come to me and they've had success, but it's been fragmented and it's not been consistent. And I've even worked with organizations where there's a UX group or team that's producing good results in that area of the company, and then the rest of the enterprise is doing something different. And you kind of have this schizophrenia where you have this advanced UX maturity in one area and then this poverty in other areas. And the poverty is a poverty of decision making. It's a poverty of how to staff, how to use the UX designer, UX researcher role, how to support that role, and how to make sure that that role gets what it needs in order to perform. There's nothing like not being able to do your job. And I've worked in too many jobs where I've been brought in to do UX and then haven't been able to do UX. I've even worked in my consulting work where we've been brought in to redesign another firm's mess, if you will. Usually it's not the right firm. It's not seasoned UX experts. So we're redesigning the thing, and the product manager or the leadership in the room decides, no, we won't do things the way you guys are doing them. We'll do them the way we think we should do them. And I don't mean the actual design. The actual design is, it's a collaborative effort in lean UX today. What I mean is the process. So in other words, no, we won't test, even though we're supposed to test. We won't test, or we won't test in that way that you guys tell us to. So that stuff just blows my mind. And to me, it's a fundamental misunderstanding of good UX process and best practice. But it's ultimately kind of zooming out. It's ultimately like, what is UX? How do you manage this thing? Forget the designs. We know how to create amazing, beautiful, and easy to use designs, but how do you manage that process? How do you integrate that into your organization? So this masterclass is going to go into that. It's going to go into my many years of observing and working with hundreds of organizations in the key mistakes, the key decisions, and the key conversations that, to me, make the difference in organizations. I call them power conversations. They're conversations that you either provide wings to your UX project and help it sail, or you ground it and accidentally, inadvertently sabotage your own efforts. And I've had the pleasure over the years of working in organizations where I've seen both of those things just before my eyes. I've worked with organizations where we have great UX going on one project and they're like, okay, let's do it on another project. And on that other project, the manager or the group that's in charge of that, doesn't understand how to manage UX and therefore ends up redesigning the redesign and gets reorged. The CEO steps in. I've seen all that happen. And I said to myself, that's crazy. Well, in this other group, we had the success. So what's the difference? So in this masterclass, I've distilled my best practices that I want to share with you, but I also want this to be interactive. So I want this to be a conversation with you. This is a special type of masterclass where you'll participate as well. So I have some activities for you, some critical things to help you really internalize the lessons and the best practices. You may have heard some of this stuff before, but I really want you to understand how to take away things that you can use in your organization to influence the conversations that you're having that either lead to good decision making or bad decision making regarding the design or regarding the process of how the design is getting baked or cooked or how the sausage is made or whatever the analogy that works for you there. So I hope you can join me on this masterclass. I look forward to seeing you there.